Please repeat. You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental signs of devotional service onto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we women know you perfectly? Purport. Even the greatest philosophical speculators cannot have access to the region of the Lord. It is said in the Upanishads that the supreme truth, the absolute personality of Godhead, is beyond the range of thinking power of the greatest philosopher. He is unknowable by great learning or by the greatest brain. He is knowable only by one who has his mercy. Others may go on thinking about him for years together, yet he is unknowable. This very fact is corroborated by the queen who is playing the part of an innocent woman. Women in general are unable to speculate like philosophers, but they are blessed by the Lord because they believe at once in the superiority and almightiness of the Lord. And thus they offer obeisances without reservation. The Lord is so kind that he does not show special favor only to one who is a great philosopher. He knows the sincerity of purpose. For this reason only, women generally assemble in great number in any sort of religious function. In every country and in every sect of religion, it appears that the women are more interested than the men. This simplicity of acceptance of Lord's authority is more effective than showy, insincere religious fervor. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnanathimiranthasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We are reading the verses explaining or the prayers by Queen Kunti, and these prayers are offered by Queen Kunti to Lord Krishna when Sri Krishna had finished his business of enthroning Yudhishthira. Sri Krishna was in Dwaraka, and the time of Kurukshetra war, they had come and within the 18 days a big battle of Kurukshetra happened, and then Pandavas came out victorious. And that time, after finishing this job of enthroning the pious king Yudhishthira, and then before leaving towards Dwaraka, he was taking the blessings or seeking blessings of all the relatives. So Queen Kunti happened to be the nephew for Krishna. And even though she is aunt and she is elder to Krishna, but she knew the personality of Krishna to be the supreme. And she knew that Krishna was playing the part of her nephew. But when she came when Lord Krishna came to her and about to leave, and that time all these prayers were offered to Krishna by Queen Kunti. Here she is saying, first two verses, if you can recall, she addressed Krishna as Antar Bahir Avastitam. You are inside and outside. You are Adhokshaja. You are not perceived by the material senses. So, Na Lakshase Mooda Drisha. You are not to be seen by foolish, ordinary people. So, in this way, she has addressed Lord Krishna in the first two verses. And here, she addresses Lord Krishna with the qualifications that are required to say him. Tata Paramahamsanam. Paramahamsa is a person or having a qualification of who can understand Krishna. Why is this word? Prabhupada very nicely elaborates this word Paramahamsa. Hamsa means swan. So swan has got a unique characteristic or ability. If it is given a mixture of water and milk, it can easily drink only the portion of the milk and reject the portion of water, which is uncommon. We can't do that. So Prabhupada says every living being every species has got something unique. Say it's swan, say even he mentions about lizard. Even though you polish the walls so nice, so soft, polished, but still it can take its way and go. No logic will work. How is this? If we see so many times when the floor is slippery little and then people fall off. And how even on a wall which has no grip to the opposite side, it goes on its way. So every living entity, whatever species, it has got its features. Here the swan, it can discern between milk and water. So he gives the qualification that a person should have to understand Krishna. He should be able to discern between matter and spirit. So this world is a matter and spirit. We all, whatever we see here around is a combination of matter and spirit. Generally people just see matter, but a thoughtful person, Muni means a thoughtful person. He knows it's not just the matter that is driven by, it is the spirit spark within us which is driving this whole matter. Body is made of matter and there is a spirit inside. That is the one which is driving this. So when we see this world or a person or anything, if we are able to discern between matter and spirit, they are called Paramahamsas. In all the acts, if somebody is able to see that way, then only he is called Paramahamsa, not otherwise. So Prabhupada gives this very nice statement. In spiritual advancement, one who is interested, just like a swan is interested only in the milk portion. Similarly, if one is interested only in the spiritual advancement and then reject the material advancement. Material things, as we all have heard, if it has to come, it will come. That's part of the nature or the karma we have. But spiritual advancement is the one the Paramahamsas are interested in, not anything else. So the material part are rejected and only the part of the spiritual advancement part are taken. So there is a nice verse which speaks about how a thoughtful person, how he can discern between matter and spirit. This is from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, anasaktasya vishayan yatharamba upayunjataha nirbhande krishna sambandhe yukta vairagyam uchyate. When one is not attached to anything but at the same time accepts anything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. One is not attached to anything, but at the same time he is accepting them in relation to Krishna. Then he is above possessiveness. That is what the intent of accepting anything is important. How you are able to discern between matter and spirit, and are you able to use it for the spiritual advancement? Very similar is one more verse quoted there by Rupa Goswami. Prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastunaha mumukshubhihi parityago vairagyam phalku kachyate. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of the relationship with Krishna is not as complete as in his renunciation. If somebody rejects something as to be material without seeing the relation to Krishna, then his renunciation is not in true completeness. So everything has got a relation to Krishna, and how we have to use it is the thoughtful munis or a paramahamsa's point of view, how he sees it. So here, of course, Kunti is a great devotee and she is on the level of Paramahamsa. That's why she is able to explain, but she is still taking the position of a humble Vaishnava, saying, how being women, how can we understand you? Only great devotees, thoughtful men, they can understand you, Krishna. How can we? But actually, she is an exalted lady who is a Param Vaishnava. But she takes the position to show us an example how a Vaishnava should be behaving like. And one more aspect, as she explains about Paramahamsa, the next aspect that she explains is Amalatmanam. One of the other qualifications that we have to understand Krishna is Amalatma. Mala means dirt. Amala means cleansed, the opposite of dirt. Shri Radha Govinda ki jai. Amalatma, who is the Atma, who is cleansed of all the dirtiness. The dirt, what is here mentioned is not about the external dirt, what we get rid of by taking bath, but it's the internal dirt in the form of lust, greed, anger. So if one is able to, or he is freed of all this, then he has the qualification to understand Krishna. So this is one more interesting aspect. How? Because it's not a 0-1 logic that, okay, now I am not dirty, and the next 1 hour I am not dirty, next 2 hours I am dirty. It's not like that, right? It's a combination of it. So as the modes, as our prior vasanas or the instincts that we have keep flipping once in a while. So here is a process. Like if somebody is able to stay in that Muni state or in the Amala state, then only he is called Paramahamsa. Not just somebody is flipping around for some time and he can be called Paramahamsa. No. It's not that swan sometimes is able to discern between water and milk and sometimes it is not. Not like that. It is all the time. It is able to discern between these two. So if somebody is to be called Paramahamsa, he should be able to discern and not flip between energy or external energy or the internal energy of them. Somebody is materially influenced for some time, and somebody is spiritually influenced for some time. Somebody is able to see spiritually, for somebody is able to strive for spiritual advancements for some time, and later some time you'll strive for material advancement. So this is the position of a jiva here. It is trying to figure out where I can, of course the soul, it gets the feeling that I have to be with the eternal associate of Krishna, I have to be eternal associate of Krishna and the acharyas, but because of the instincts, so many sinful activities that a jiva has committed for maybe ages, for many lifetimes, that seems little difficult. So the qualifications that we have to understand and then try and be in that is the devotee's endeavor, or we can say the desire of the devotees. So in this context, Prabhupada brings in the human form of life is not easy. Only in this form that we can discern between what is matter and what is spirit. Not in any other forms. So, e rupe brahmanda brahmite kono bhagyavan jeev Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata beej. How that true aspect comes in. There are many pious people all over the world, especially in India, so many pious people. Many people do come to temples, do offer their obeisances. So it's a pious activity. It brings them. And when the piety increases, and then when Guru Krishna prasade pai, when he gets that edge of having the mercy of a pure devotee, then his page-turning incident, you can call, that happens in a person's life, wherein he strives for the path of spiritual advancement, rejecting the material advancement. Otherwise, jivas cannot be desireless. They have to be desiring. But how it has to be desired and how they have to be conducting themselves are to be very thoughtful. One person has to become more and more thoughtful about it. Otherwise, he'll be just carried away by the waves of Maya. So one more important aspect that we can see from this statement is, Prabhupada says, women in general are unable to speculate like philosophers, but they are blessed by the Lord because they believe at once in the superiority and almighty of the Lord, and thus they offer obeisances without reservation. So this is one of the qualifications. When we surrender, there shouldn't be any reservation. Oh, should I do it whatever it is told to be done, or should I be trying to reserve myself? In that way, women are much more advanced, they say. But otherwise, according to the Shastras, Striya Vaishya Tata Shudra Tepi Antim Paramgatim. So, it's all Mamhi Partha Vyapashrita Epihu Papayonaha Striya Vaishya Tata Shudra. Otherwise, women are not considered in the high class grade to be philosophers like. They cannot think so discriminatively all the time. But it is as long as they have not come in touch with the pure devotees. Once they take up Krishna consciousness, then they are as good as anybody who can discern between matter and spirit. So the idea is they have that innate nature which qualifies them, and they become much more recipient recipients of the Lord's mercy. This is one of the qualities in a woman. So, but once they become Krishna conscious, and then there is no difference as such. Prabhupada says very interestingly, but if they become interested, then they can also be promoted. If as soon as they become interested, they can also be promoted to the Paramahamsa stage. So there is no bar that men or women, but in general, they are not very interested in perceiving spirituality in general. But it is the right moment if one is interested, as the swan is interested only in milk. So one starts interested in spiritual advancement, then there is no hindrance, there is no block. Anyone, Striya, Vaishya, Tata, Shudra, Param Gatim, they can also achieve the highest Gati. So I was, I happened to see a small interview of an accomplished actor who later became a devotee. So I was saying how, in that interview, she was mentioning how the transformation from a corporate or a filmy or a serial world to the Krishna conscious world. So she had given up that endeavors of achieving some milestones, as we all try and do when not in Krishna conscious. So if you can, then the process that is very simple. If they get that Bhakti Lata Bij, then nobody can stop that. So it's anything material, even though big, apparently big, can be given up. It is just a matter of time that if that they take right decisions and then right be guided, and then the path for spiritual advancement is fair. So in that previous interview, there was an attachment to the previous interview, what she is now and what she was. As such, in the previous interview, it was told by their own men that she was so innocent, she would not know which to, she would not even discriminate, okay, which is right and which is not right. And how now, and now she is able to take the right decisions. How is that? Just a matter of 2 years or so, say 3 years. How is that a person who is not able to even take decisions, and they take such decisions of taking the spirituality as the forefront? So that shows it is no bar. Anybody, anytime, all being the mercy of the Lord, anybody can take up to this path. So that's what is mentioned here by Prabhupada. He says, Lord is unknowable by great learning or by the greatest brain. He is knowable only by one who has his mercy. It is not our ability or the scholarly aspect that one can understand God. No, it is only by his mercy that one can try and understand Lord. So it is, we are fortunate, and we should be appreciating the aspects that we have all got, though we would have not desired, we are not so thoughtful, but still we are in this position, nevertheless, whatever were our previous instincts. So this shows that the spiritual masters and Krishna's mercy is very, very rare, and we have to try and perceive it with perseverance. And we see here how it goes on. The simplicity of acceptance of Lord's authority is more effective than showy, insincere religious fervor. There are many religious fervors going on, especially during, occasions like big festivals, but true instinct will be missing. So this is what discerns between spirituality and material advancement. So That's very important for all of us to learn from this. We have to develop this qualification on how we should be interested in advancing in spiritual life. So as exemplified by Queen Kunti herself. We'll stop here if you have any questions. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణవాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133107700.